What's up, everybody? Geopolitical Realist here. So, for a long time, I've been really wanting to make a video about what are the definitive best branches of the military for someone who's wanting to join. Now, I'm not talking about cool factor. I'm not talking about, like the mission is so good. I'm talking about like when you join, if you want to do 4 years or like make a career out of it, what is the best branch that will provide you a high quality of life? Now, let's be real here. Being in the military at times, and possibly most of the time, your quality of life is, I would say, probably below your average civilian. Or, it depends on where you come from, but at times it can be really low. But if you're going to join, you want to have the best quality of life possible while serving in the military. So, what I'm going to do today is go through each of the branches and give you like the lowdown on which branches are the best and which branches are the worst for quality of life. So, starting off, we have the United States Air Force. Now, I'm a little biased here, I'll admit it. I joined the Air Force when I was in. I would say that the Air Force has probably the highest quality of life out of all the branches. Now, why do I say that? Well, number one, the people within the Air Force are very competent. They have high ASVAB scores. So when it comes to like the drudgery of the military, like the paperwork aspect, I'm going to tell you, it's bad everywhere you go. All right. But with the Air Force, you're dealing with more competent people. In many cases within the Air Force, the bases you're at, the facilities you're using are newer. So when it comes to dining, like when you are an enlisted troop in the lower ranks, you eat at the DFAC. So the food's going to be better. The facilities are going to be newer. So the gyms and stuff are going to be of higher quality. And overall, a lot of the Air Force's mission is land based. So like you're stationed on land, even though it's like you're flying, like you're supporting a flying mission. You're stationed on land. You're not really like doing a bunch of training activities in the middle of the desert or like off in the forest. The Air Force is very stationary. It's very 9 to 5 corporate for the most part. Like, of course, there's jobs within security forces and maintainers who they work very different schedules from the rest of the Air Force. But overall, you have a way higher quality of life, I would say, than most of the other military branches, except for the general exception of the Space Force, which is really just like a cutout of the Air Force that they created. So S tier for the Air Force. Next is the Army. Now, the Army is the largest military branch in the United States, and it's the oldest military branch in the United States. Emphasis on the oldest, meaning their facilities, so the housing, dining facilities, recreational facilities, they're all old. So that leads to a decline in quality of life. You've heard these stories of these barracks that are full of mold. Like, that is not a good thing. Like, that is a significant threat to your health. And you shouldn't be threatened when you're joining like the military and you're living in your barracks where you're like they tell you, hey, this is where you're gonna live. You're gonna live in these barracks here. Hey, guess what? You're living with you have a bunkmate over here. You have to share a room with them. But also, by the way, you have mold in your room. That is like that's a big no-no. So that is a major problem with the Army. You have a less competent branch. The Army has a lot of people in it. They let a lot of people in that don't score the best on the ASVAB, which leads to lower competency, more bureaucratic headaches. Just stuff happening that goes wrong. It sucks. More incompetent leadership. It's not a good thing for the Army. And then on top of that, you just have a lot of shady stuff happening on some of these Army bases, like just you're these bases, these large bases, you have just insane stuff occurring on them sometimes. And, you read the stories, you're like, oh my goodness, like this is happening on a military base, like the most secure one of the most secure places in all of America, a military base. So I would say the Army, I give it a C. All right. It's not the worst branch, but when you join, like you're just, you really are like just, you're a soldier. It's not the best. It's not going to be the highest quality of life. Now, hey, if your father was in the Army and you want to follow in his legacy, hey, power to you, join the Army. All right. The next branch is the Coast Guard. Coast Guard, you're stationed primarily stateside. You're more of like a jack of trades kind of guy where you do multiple things on a Coast Guard vessel. Your mission is very visible. You're helping people um, like right there, like within your own country. Like you go out, you save somebody, you stop drug trafficking. Your mission is at home, which is a great thing. And most of these Coast Guard bases are coastal. So like the cities and stuff that you're around it's a bit better. So I'd have to give the Coast Guard an A. That's a very good aspect of the Coast Guard. Like if you want to serve close to home, you can fly home on a weekend or something like that. You're in the continental United States, except for like Alaska and Hawaii. It's a great branch to join. High quality of life. Okay, the next branch I want to talk about is the United States Marines. Now, the Marines, in some aspects, are very similar to the Army. Like some of their facilities are not the best. But what makes the Marines different from the Army is that the people who join the Marines, the people who serve in the Marines, are very gung ho. They're very into the military, meaning that, say, you go to the BX or something like that, and you have some stubble on your face and you're in uniform. There might be some guy in there who's going to check you for doing that. So they have extremely high standards, and people hold each other accountable. Like when it comes to PT and everything like that, granted, like that's another bad thing about the Army is like a lot of the mandatory PT in the Army is awful. But back to the Marines, tangent aside, the Marines, they don't mess around when it comes to PT. So you're not going to see a bunch of like people on waivers, people out of shape and stuff. They're going to hold their feet to the fire. If they don't get into shape, they're probably going to get kicked out. All right. And granted, all that in mind, the gung ho culture, there are higher enlisted and officers. You've seen the videos online. They smoke the Marines, they smoke their lower enlisted. And that is cringe when stuff like that happens. But overall, I would say that the Marines are a great branch. Like they are a great branch. They're probably the most authentic. I was in the military branch kind of thing. Like you want to be proud of your service, truly, like really, really, really proud. Like and like the most. You see all the guys who were former Marines, all the veterans that were Marines. They wear their hats and their apparel with pride. That kind of thing. But being a Marine, it can be a big boost to one's, confidence and their social standing in and outside of the Marines once they get out. So I'd give, now quality of life wise, you're going to have to deal with that though. Hey, there's people watching you. They're going to smoke you if you, your uniform's out of regs. They're going to, your PT is going to be hard sometimes. You're going to have some gung-ho idiot maybe as your boss that it goes a little bit too hard and you hate the Marines for that, But what you get in return for the lower quality of life is that you're a Marine, you're more proud, like you were truly in the military in a sense. You weren't like, and this is coming from somebody from the Air Force, like you do have I do believe Marines do have a bit of a distinction. So I would give the Marines a B. Okay. Next branch is the Space Force. It's an easy S. They have like 8 bases or something like that, or a little bit more than that. And they're pretty much the Air Force, except for like their name tags, and their name tags are blue, and the American flag is has like the Army, like the normal colors of the American flag, versus the Air Force American flag is like camo. So it's the Air Force pretty much, and I don't know, like I don't want to go into a big tangent of why I think the Space Force is kind of just a big cutout, like it's just a big side job for MIC, but I mean, the Air Force is a good branch to join if you want high quality of life. So it's S tier. All right. The final branch is the Navy. Now, the Navy, I would say, probably has some of the most important roles in the entire military. Okay. So, like, say you're assigned to a submarine, it's nuclear powered, it has nuclear missiles. That's probably the most powerful vehicle ever constructed by man with the inclusion of nuclear armaments. And it has the most important mission out of all the different units, branches, whatever in the military. Those submarines of the nuclear triad are the most important part. You really, at the end of the day, like you could probably disable our bombers, you could probably disable our stationary nukes, our ICBMs, but it would be very hard to find all our submarines. So they're the most important vehicle slash weapon the United States has. But the overall Navy, including the submarine people who man the submarines, the quality of life is very dismal. You have shore duty and you have sea duty. And while you're at sea, it sucks. You're basically confined to a ship. You're racked up with a bunch of people in one room, in one sleeping quarters as enlisted. And it just, you're sleeping rucked up with a bunch of people in one room, and you're at sea, so you feel the ocean and everything like that. That's not good quality of life, okay? Your dating opportunities are very poor. Your relationships are affected deeply by this dynamic of being at shore and then being at sea. And I would say that a majority of the guys that I knew or know that were in the Navy, a lot of them are divorced because of the Navy. And that's a big thing too. A lot of the military branches, a lot of guys get divorces. And I would say if you're a young man, you're 18 years old and you join the military, just have fun for 4 years. Don't worry about getting married while you're in the military. Just go do it. Do 4 years, get out, go to college if that's your plan. And don't worry about getting married while you're in. Just have fun. Okay? That's your plan. But tangent aside again, the Navy, so they have that dynamic of shore duty and sea duty. Their facilities are not the best. I'd say they're better than the Army, but still not the best. So that sea duty thing, being on a ship for a portion of your time while you're in, or while you're serving, it's just the worst thing ever. It's the biggest hammer to your quality of life. Okay. Even the officers have high attrition in the Navy. The surface warfare officers, it's not that hard to become a surface warfare officer now because so many of them get out after one contract. So for all of that, for having the worst quality of life when it comes to being at sea for a large portion of the time, I would say that's a D. I'd give the Navy a D. Now, overall, before I give you what I think are the best branches to join, please like and subscribe. Every subscription, it helps so much. Like it motivates me to make more of these videos, and like it just gels everything together for me. So if you like and subscribe, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, I would say the best branch to join for quality of life, or the best two branches to join, are of course the Air Force and the Space Force. Definitely, if you want to just do 4 years, or if you're thinking about having a career in the military as enlisted, like specifically as enlisted for real, because I think as an officer things can change from branch to branch a little bit because you do enjoy a higher quality of life because of your pay, because of the benefits they give you for being an officer. I'd say definitely join the Air Force or the Space Force, like 100% if you're going to enlist. Now, when it comes to, oh, I want to be in the military, I want to be like, I want to truly like have the distinction of I was in the military, I'm a veteran. I want the most gung ho experience. I want the most like people who are very detail oriented. Like they want to serve their country. They want to be the best they can be. Then I would say join the Marines. That's the branch you should join. So yeah, those three branches: quality of life wise, Air Force, Space Force; duty wise, wanting to serve the best you can, wanting to have that great distinction would be the Marines. That's all for my video today. This is Geopolitical Realist. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.